people would call me, and I'd have to be like, "No, call me in a minute," or call me
after 9. The data's free after 9.
Well, there was used to be able like AT&T to AT&T was free.
Yeah.
It's like if you met somebody that didn't have AT&T, it was like, that sucks.
That was the first
red flag.
Yeah.
That was the first blue text message back in the day.
Yeah.
Damn, I'm old.
Oh, good times, man.
Have you seen?
We can't just have all giants. What kind of small guys are
Like, he's got to get him. He's got to get him.
We got to pack it up.
Because if we don't get it, somebody else is going to get it.
And drink straight out the bottle.
Cheers.
Hawk Tuah. Welcome to the Who Effing Knows podcast. And the first question I have for you guys, aside from us being the official podcast of Hawk Tuah fans everywhere, is has there ever been a person that has just climbed to fame as fast as this young lady who is just making the rounds?
Yeah, like a week before, Oilers chick.
Yeah.
Oh, that's different.
Is it?
It's kind of
It's
different.
in the same vein in a way.
I guess.
It's getting people's attention for the same reason.
Is it?
I mean,
Very sexual related.
yeah.
I get it. I think one's funny and the other's just flat out like pornography.
The other one,
Like-
Hawk Tuah, is hilarious.
Well, what's crazy is Hawk Tuah is she's in like hiding, like no one knows who she is, and they're trying to like deep dive.
She may be the first person to go viral recently, besides that one chick that was on a plane that was like, that motherfucker is not real. Besides her, like this is the first person to go viral that like doesn't want any part of it. Because usually they'd come out by now and be like, "This is me."
No, she put out. She's actually look it up. She actually put out like she worked with a company in Tennessee and they're putting out clothing.
The Hawk Tuah 24.
Yeah. She's already out there. Like she's.
What if you explain that to your? How do you explain that to your parents? What does that mean?
Yeah, it's rough. It's rough. I don't know. It lives in infamy.
Well, the full clips are coming out, and she's saying even more stuff, like knocking the cobwebs off, and like how many side pieces that she has.
Man. Well, let's talk about that. I went down the rabbit hole. No, not side pieces. Goodness gracious, guys.
Well, that was the last thing he said.
No, I want to talk about the extra things that are coming out, because like I saw a lot of people talking about like this girl has basically forever ruined herself as far as like relationships in the future. Like people are gonna look at her like she's low value, and this it is what it is. But I'm curious, like when y'all were single, if somebody would have had a video out there like that, would you have dated them? Like would you have even considered it?
I think date, yes. I don't know if it would be a long-term thing.
Okay.
Are you asking like? I feel like maybe like high school, early college days. The answer is probably different than now. Now I don't know. See, this is tough.
But do you stay with them even given that video? That's what I'm getting at. Like, do you think that's a long term?
I don't think the video matters that much.
You don't think it matters?
To be honest. Like.
She's not really showing anything like the Oilers girl. You know.
But also like
whole different story.
People do things for the camera. Right, like, is she playing it up at all? You know what I mean? Like, you'd have to get to know a little bit more. I don't know.
So you're saying it's deeper than that? You could
just like, I wouldn't be like this video alone is the only reason that I'm like it's too much.
You don't think like just subconsciously you would have that in the back of your mind where it's like I don't know, like
that's what I was saying. Like with the Oilers girl, it's like all right, I can't get over the fact that I'm with you and like everyone has seen you.
I don't care.
You don't care.
I don't care.
So
then the girl's like, well, she just said some stuff. I can kind of get over that. They don't.
So I'm going to take this even a step further. We're going to get deep. So would you date, hypothetically?
Yes. I know where you're going with it. I'm going to say yes.
I don't know how to say it. What was I going to say? Read my mind.
Go ahead. You can say it.
No, you know what I'm going to say.
I want the words to come out of your
mouth. You know what I was going to say.
Do
I need
you
to
understand
make sure.
the words that are coming out of your mouth?
Listen, you pretended you knew what I was going to say. I need you to prove yourself now.
I want to see if I was right. Go ahead.
That's not how this works.
It is how this works.
All right, we're going to move on. Anyways, the next segment on this show.
Do you think you know where he was going with it?
Kind of, maybe, but...
If you were confidently going to cut me off...
I'm not confident. I'm not as confident
Were you going to ask... You were either going to ask if we could date like a stripper or like an OnlyFans.
Yeah. I was going to ask if you could date an OnlyFans girl.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
And you would?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't care.
Okay. I don't know if I could. I'll be honest.
Yeah. But you know what the difference is with that? There's a ton of money that comes with that if they're doing it right.
Yeah.
Somebody's spoiling you. You're not
but it's like the same thing. Like a porn star situation. You know, it's like
that feels different.
Is it though?
Is it the same thing though? I guess OnlyFans can mean a lot of things, so I'll give you that. But in my mind, when I think of OnlyFans, I think of someone who's
some of them are they're by themselves.
Okay.
Where like
so we're porn stars sometimes.
Well, yeah, but when you're talking a porn star, like there's usually a bunch of people that go through that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The OnlyFans chick might just be taking pictures of herself. That's it.
Okay, she might be. I guess there's levels to this.
Yeah, there's definitely levels. It's not like in a vacuum.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'm saying no. I don't think I could. I think a little bit of, and this is, listen, people that want to do that type of work, make your money, right? But like, I don't think that I would want to date someone who did that. That's it.
See, I say yes, but it could be, if put in the scenario, maybe it's different. Maybe it ends up bothering me. I'd give it a shot for sure.
Of course you would.
Well, I wouldn't. No, not for those reasons. I'm very I don't know. I don't know. I feel like I'd have to get to know them first.
Okay.
Like, I'm not somebody. There's obvious things that would be like immediate red flags, and like she don't like dogs. Sorry.
Yeah, it's weird.
That is more, honest to God, more a red flag.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Very odd. Very obvious. That's it. That's all we have tonight for the Who F Knows podcast. Thank you guys for joining us. Hawk Tuah. No, I don't know. I don't know how that even started or why we got on that topic, but it felt natural to flow into.
She's taking over the world. It's hard not to talk about.
She really is. Well,
where was it?
In
Nashville?
Tennessee. Yeah,
was it Nashville? I thought it was Nashville.
Oh, is she a Broadway girl? She one of them?
Mm-hmm.
She was definitely Southern, because that added to it. Like, her accent added to all of it.
There's two things that you're going to find out, all right? I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Leave them Broadway girls alone. I've never actually been there. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. Don't listen to me.
Overrated.
I just know the song.
Overrated.
So, are there any, it's not really the same subject, but it's similar in that vein. Are there any memes or I guess videos now that you just go around repeating? Like, what's the top thing that you walk around and you're just like throwing stuff out? Like something happens and you're like, ha, got him, or something dumb like that. You know what I mean? Like, there's a million of them.
I mean, D's nuts is always my favorite. I mean, it's just like D's nuts.
Okay.
Always a classic for me.
Yeah, that's tough. I don't know if I have a meme.
Yeah.
I'm trying to
I don't down. Let's see.
I don't think I say things, but there's definitely memes I consistently use.
Yeah.
Like the Joker meme, and here we go. I use that constantly.
All the time.
Anytime something happens, it's and here we go.
Like in response to things, like GIFs. Yeah. Can you speak in GIF? I feel like I speak in GIF all the time, and I feel like maybe that's a millennial thing, and younger people look at me like I'm an old man now, and I'm like, I don't think I'm funny anymore. It's just, it's not working out.
Well, sometimes you just don't know how to respond to something, and but in your head you're like, what if I post this little clip? Mm-hmm. It says everything that I really want to say.
This sums up how I feel.
I use the Curb Your Enthusiasm, where it's Larry David. He's like,
I'm looking at my frequently used memes on Twitter to see what I use the most.
Yeah.
The number one is the Lion King, "It is time."
I like the edited one where Rafiki goes to lifts him up and he just throws him off the cliff.
Woosah. I say woosah a lot. Is that meme more? I mean,
I guess it's like an old TV.
I was gonna say I feel like I throw movie lines out there a lot, which could.
It works.
It could be a meme.
Yeah, I'll allow it.
And something came up on Twitter the other day. What's the Johnny Knoxville movie where he does the Special Olympics?
Oh,
The Ringer.
The Ringer.
Yeah. When the fuck did we
that
get ice cream?
It might be my favorite line from a movie of all time. I used to go around saying that anytime somebody would mention ice cream, I'd be like, "When the fuck do we get ice cream?" And they'd be like,
"You don't have to say it like that."
You have to. That's what makes it funny.
No one made you say it like that.
You have to. This is funny. But they're like, "What are you talking about? Why?" Because it was kind of like a sleeper movie. Not a ton of people have seen it.
Well, they said that scene was unscripted too, and in the scene you could see Knoxville trying not to break, and it just kept it in there, and it was so perfect.
That's funny. Can you hit that fan?
Oh, it is a little warm in here, isn't it?
Sorry. I was waiting for a pause so I couldn't say it.
A little mold. A little low. We've had so much go on tonight. We've had technical difficulties. We got 2 mics running the show here, so if we sound bad, you'll get over it.
Yeah, it's a technical foul.
It's a technical issue.
Oh my goodness. I don't even know. I have nothing. I got a million topics written down, but none of them.
I saw something that the No posted today was.
Oh yeah, it's a good topic.
If they were to be implemented into today's roster in their prime, Chris Paul or Drew Brees, which one would immediately impact the team more?
What's the no?
I didn't even know. I just was like, what?
Anyway.
Yeah, I think it's tough. It's hard for me. I heard a lot of people say Chris Paul, which rightfully so. I think you drop Chris Paul in his prime onto the Pelicans roster and it just takes off. But Drew Brees is Drew freaking Brees. Like there's no arguing against that. I don't care if you got Chris Paul or not. You could have, I don't know, anyone.
But is the argument that the Saints need a little bit more help than just the quarterback?
Here's the thing, though. Yes, the argument that I've seen is the Saints need more help than a quarterback, but also a quarterback can make up for a hell of a lot of deficiencies on a roster. The Saints were in contention only because of Drew Brees for
years.
Years.
Yeah, they were throwing it to, no offense to Lance Moore, but just like
that's the name you chose.
That's the first name that just receivers that you were just out there getting it, and Drew Brees was really making them.
You had Brandon Coleman running routes. You had to bring back Robert Meacham multiple times.
Terrence Copper.
Yeah, like come on now. There's so many other names. What was Austin Carr was on the team at one point.
At one point, Austin Carr would not die. He would just not go away.
I'm just saying, there's a million of them. Like, he was just finding guys and getting them the ball. It didn't matter what their name was, and it was when he had a noodle arm. Like, it didn't even matter.
Some 5'0" receiver with number 11 on every year, every single year, just another one. He just kept coming through.
Good old Tommy Lee.
Yep.
Good times.
I think the answer is Drew Brees.
It's got to be Drew Brees because he's Drew freaking Brees.
Because the Pels, you could argue need a point guard, but I don't think they need the level of they just need a above average point guard.
CP3 just changed. Like, Blake Griffin and DeAndre Jordan were nasty, but having CP3 be able to just maneuver that offense and really just turn them into Lob City.
Mm-hmm.
Also, to be fair, you go back and watch Hornet CP3, you forget that's a different animal. Than even the second he got to the Clippers, it's not the same guy. Some of the things he was doing were nuts.
Yeah, you're talking
maybe
about,
it's just recency bias because we've seen Drew more recent than prime Chris Paul.
Yeah, it's so funny because people look at Chris Paul and they probably think of a dude that played below the rim, and he did. But when he was younger, he was dunking on Dwight Howard. Yeah. This dude was nasty.
Yeah.
And still, I'm taking Drew Brees. So yeah.
But you could, the Pels could probably benefit from today Chris Paul. You know what I mean?
Well, I remember last year when they were talking about him being a free agent or getting traded. I was for having Chris Paul back.
Yeah, I don't know. If you plug Drew into the Saints last year, they're playing they're easily 2 wins more at least.
Yeah, you know why? Because people respect him. His receivers respect him. They're going to run the routes that they're supposed to run. And he's not throwing balls that are getting people hurt. Sorry, now I'm just shitting on Derek Carr, and I don't mean to.
But a Hall of Fame quarterback can also make up for bad coaching sometimes, right?
Okay. Yeah.
It's he can make up for so much. And then if you're in a game where your defense is terrible, if Drew Brees gets his ball last, it don't matter what the defense is.
Right.
We're winning the game.
Right.
So, I don't know. I don't feel any other position, my answer would be Chris Paul. But because it's a quarterback, I say Drew.
I believe in Drew Breezy.
You brought up something, though, that I think is kind of a hot take. We talked about a good quarterback and kind of had bad coaching. Do you feel that way with maybe Belichick, with Brady hiding? Because I feel once Brady left, is it the Patriots just he was their whole team, or do you think it could be a thing about bad coaching? Because, they tested it, what was it, at least 3 or 4 years?
But to be look at the quarterbacks that he he went to. You went from Tom Brady to who was like
Well, they
They
had
never gave
Newton.
Jimmy-
They had Cam Newton for a year.
They had a version of Cam Newton.
Yeah.
Like they had Cam
Who
Newton
actually
that could
was
barely
halfway
throw.
decent.
He couldn't
for
throw.
like a few games.
I think he only like really scored by
I don't
running.
think Cam Newton even really started. They
He
went through a
definitely
couple guys.
played. He definitely played.
But like they throw out Mac Jones and Bailey Zappi, like
Yeah.
their
Who was,
defense. So like he's a defensive coach. Their defense has still been relatively.
They had Jacoby Brissett who
Yeah,
played.
that's the name I was thinking of.
Yeah.
It's interesting. You can make the argument. You can make the
Yeah,
argument.
absolutely.
But 4 years ago, if you'd have said that, it would have been blasphemous. It would have been like,
Right.
I can't believe you would even insinuate that. This is one of the best coaches of all time. And I mean, like, he's decorated as one, but you can make the argument. I mean,
I think you could. It's hard. The only reason it's hard to say is because of the drop off he had. Now,
Because it was almost like instant. Like as soon as Brady
Yeah.
went off, it was like,
well, and there's a lot going on there that I would defend him with. Their roster sucked.
Yeah.
Their roster construction was bad when Brady was there, and they were barely getting over the hump. And then finally, Brady was like, "I ain't doing this shit anymore," and he bounced. And then that was it.
yeah.
So, he didn't have a lot to work with.
they have a solid defense. It's just that offense is just
Right.
them finding a QB play. I mean, Ramondre Stevenson, solid receiver. Running back. They don't really have like receivers.
Right. Well, that's kind of
out
what
there.
we're like when you're throwing these no-name guys out there. Tom Brady can make them look great. Like not to say like Julian Edelman is not a good receiver in his own right, But like Brady definitely helped make Julian Edelman what he is.
Wes
But
Welker.
but then when you take those guys and you have Mac Jones throw into them, you start to see their real level, and it's like, ugh, maybe.
Yeah, the ball placement isn't
I just-
perfect, and then it's like he can't really go out there and catch that ball.
I guess I'm always in the camp, in almost any sport, that the players on the field always mean more
They do.
than the coach.
They do. The
Like-
coaches matter, but the players are going to matter a ton more.
Yeah.
Well, it's just like it's a different sport, but I felt like that was Steve Kerr and the Warriors. Like he's won a couple of championships, but it's like but you got Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green. Like you have these like just
Andre Iguodala.
these absolute studs on the team. So it's like really, how much is it
Yeah.
that you're coaching versus just the actual players are just
I
really
think-
really good.
Where a coach really stands tall or true or really shows out is the scheme. Like if they can put those guys together and see the talent and know how to make them mesh together, and that allows them to take off, that's when it really shows through. And I think Belichick was really good at that in a lot of instances. He would change his offense up so much. He would change his defense up so much. He was one of the first coaches that were having guys play two ways, and it was like crazy. He just tried stuff and it worked.
He's got like a 6-rounder from
Yeah.
a D2 school that ends up like getting pro. It's like
But going into that a little more, just like Sean Payton, both of them, and I'm just calling out Sean Payton now, both of them got a little overconfident in that, and like their rosters ended up falling off the cliff.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, too, like, I think it's come out since, like, Brady, it's notorious that people don't necessarily like playing for Belichick, but people have said, like, I think some of his teammates have said that he made it tolerable in a way. So, like, even, like, once he leaves, then it's just Belichick, and you're like, and you'll put up with a lot when you're winning, when you have a Super Bowl opportunity every year. When that goes away, you're like, I'm not doing this. Like, I'm not playing for this dude and living this style of life or whatever.
We're going 6-11.
Yeah.
No
Like,
thanks.
I tend to think the players mean more, but there are coaches where clearly the players don't necessarily matter as much. Like, look at, like, even though Shanahan hasn't won a Super Bowl, everywhere he goes, the offense is good. The team is a top team. So
Yeah,
the players, you need the talent.
he's always
You
had a
need-
ton of talent though on every team he's been on.
Yeah, but he's like Tomlin.
Tomlin, you could call Tomlin out.
You
Tomlin's a hell
can
of a
speak.
coach.
There are years where that Steelers team last year, or maybe even
the
the
killer
year before, might even be a better like.
the Killer Bees should have definitely went further than
Yeah.
just with Bell, Brown, and Roethlisberger. It's like
But the fact that he can drag some of these rosters the Steelers have had to 8 or 500 every year is is nuts.
Yeah, it also sucks for the fan base, I would assume. Cause
well, I was talking to him a while back. It's like after a Steelers loss, I cannot go on Facebook, and then like after they re-signed him recently, it was like all these old people were just like, "Hey, that's a horrible hire. When did Super Bowls and blah 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 blah? Time for us to go 9-8 every season again." And I'm just like, you see what the rosters that we have, and they show like you see these pictures of the starting roster like back in the 4 years ago, and like how the hell that team even make the playoffs?
Yeah.
And so I think this year is the most like I think if this year, now that you kind of have a semi competent like quarterback, whether it's Fields or it's Russ, it's like the offense is good. You got a two-headed running back with Najee and Jalen. You got good weapons on receiver. Defense is halfway decent. I think if he doesn't really do anything this year, then you kind of question him. But I mean, I love Tomlin, but
yeah, I remember when they were talking about Mike Tomlin might get fired.
Right, he's on the hot seat,
and I was like, please.
I was like, how quick can we get our coaches out of here?
Can we get him to the Saints, please?
What's funny though is because I'm always somebody that is like, if we're not going to win the Super Bowl, I would rather just be 2-14.
Yeah, you're a tankathon guy. It's fun.
Like I would rather. I hate the middle of the draw. Like, although it kind of depends though, because like when the Saints were going 7-9, but they were putting up 40 points a game. Like at least it's fun. But when we sucked, like I guess last year too. But it's just like
the last 2 years.
You're just like crawling to 7-9 or whatever. It's like ugh. Like this is a terrible.
I mean, but it seems like it doesn't work like in the NFL as much as like you would think. I think the Texans are the last one, like the most recent that it's actually worked for.
Yeah.
But a lot of teams they end up tanking and try to get some people, and it just doesn't pan out as well as you would think it would.
Yeah. Same the NBA.
Yeah. Yeah. You can't get. Well, it's like even same thing with the Spurs. It's like they get Wemby and like they're relevant, and Wemby will get you games, but they're still 40 games below.
You know what? There's something weird with the Spurs, though. They should have won more games than they won. They looked like they were not trying to win games last year. And that's a whole nother conversation about another coach who's like one of the best coaches of all time.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
but also,
come on now.
But also the NBA, like, they could get Wemby one more guy, like one more star. If he takes any kind of leap and they get one more star in there, they're probably at least a play-in team. So it's like the rebuilds can happen. Hell, it takes a lot less to hit in the NBA. In the NBA, like people want to go play with him.
Yeah, one off season, they'll be a top seed next year. It's like, or they'll be expected to be.
The rosters are just some. I mean, you got 5 men that you're worrying about versus 22 out on the field.
True.
See, what are some trends you got sucked into as a kid?
A bunch, probably.
Like, for me, it was like Live Strong bands.
Oh.
Yeah.
The amount of Live Strong bands I had, and then even as I got older, the Power bracelets. I think Drew Brees was sponsored by it for a minute. And I was like, Drew's doing it.
Yeah.
I gotta wear.
What were the ones that were like? It was like, this is the water from blah 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 blah. Oh, what you have on right now?
But I just think I like the way they look. That's the only reason I have them. I don't think they do.
I did like the bands. I liked all the bands. It didn't matter what it was.
I had so many Live Strong bands.
Yeah.
Like, I say Live Strong, but like, I bought some Michael Vick shoes. He had his own bands that came with it.
Yeah.
And I just keep switching them out.
I guess I wasn't really a kid, but I got sucked into like the Nike Elite socks, like with the multicolored, and it was just so trendy to just wear.
There was so much for me. I don't even know where to start. And I'm also older, so a lot of it's going to fall on deaf ears. Yeah. Like, I was wearing, like, Rockaware and South Pole. I thought it was cool. I wore Timberlands for a while.
I had some South Pole.
When I was younger, when, like, boy bands were a thing, I think I've talked about this before. My sister had, like, this hair dye, and I was going to play a baseball game. And, like, I pushed my tips up, just the tips, and I frosted them. And then I went and played a baseball game, and the dye, like, ran out in my face when I was sweating. It was a beautiful time.
Remember when everybody was, like, running around with fake G-Shocks for a while there?
Oh, yeah.
That was
Dude, I remember that.
I definitely had a few of those.
G-Shocks were definitely, like, a big trend.
But none of them were real. Not a single person had a real one.
Well, someone had a real one. None of us did. None
Yeah,
of the people.
because it was like high school.
Yeah.
Nobody at high school.
Oh, I got
had
this
real-
G-Shock. Yeah, who bought that for you?
But you know what? Like in high school, I didn't think G-Shock was like. Now I know G-Shock is like a nice brand of watches.
Yeah.
In high school, I just assumed it was like going to pennies and buying a G-Shock. I didn't know it was like that.
Everybody had that. People had like the fake chains and like the fake watches and.
They're still around too. If you go in like the Macy's or Dillard's and they got all the watches and you just see G-Shocks on there, I'm like, oh look, good for them, good for the G-Shock.
I'd love to like talk to my brother and find out like what their trends are in high school now.
I feel like they don't have them. They just like live life.
Yeah.
You think so?
If it's a trend, it's like maybe a week and then it just goes away.
Not to throw my brother under the bus here, but this is completely off like track. But my mom told me the other day she gives him snacks or whatever to go to school with. He was storing them in his backpack and going around. He was never eating them. He was just selling them to kids and making money.
I mean, that's a tale as old as
Yeah.
time. Back in high
I
school,
was
like
like,
in high school, you had the kid with the backpack that had all the snacks, and it was
it's
like
my brother.
I did that. I used to go to Sam's and I'll buy them in bulk.
food, and I used to. People used to be big on the, especially me, like the ramen noodles. You just like crush it up, put the seasoning in there, just eat it like in the Ziploc bag.
Sour straws people liked. Reese's people liked.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
Well, it
My
came.
top sellers.
It came up.
You got to see Patty at lunch. He's got all the goods. He's got the goods.
It came up because in Alabama they're trying to force all the kids to have clear backpacks.
Oh.
And my brother was like, there's reasons to be upset. My brother is upset because he can't hide the snacks in there and sell anymore. And he can't sell them.
Wow,
because
he's very hungry today.
I was like, in my head, I told my mom, I was like, what's wrong with that? Like, why can't he do that? She was like, there's vending machines or
He's
something.
cutting into their
Yeah.
private.
I'm like, whatever.
He's infringing on their territory.
Yeah, so it's so fun. Like, there's legit reasons to be upset about that, and he's just like, I want to be able to sell the snacks.
That's like the coolest part of like going to school though, is like right before the school year starts, you go and pick out a brand new book bag and
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. We had the mesh book bags. Did you have to have the mesh when you were younger?
Didn't have to. There were people that did. Whew,
That was a
bowling
Nike bag.
backpacks. Talk about trends that people were.
Oh, we didn't do that.
About
and
Heelys.
this was like elementary school, like very very young.
I feel like the kids who had the rolling backpacks were kind of made fun of in my elementary school, to be honest with you. Were you a rolling backpack kid? Not that I'm judging you for it.
I don't think I ever had one.
Yeah.
But I don't. They were like when I remember when I was in
But
school.
Heelys, I do remember Heelys. You remember the soap shoes?
Uh-huh.
You know what I'm talking about? Hell yeah.
I don't remember the soap.
Throwback.
Oh, dude, it's so easy to grind a rail.
You could shred gnar.
Yeah, man.
It kind of in the same vein of just like throwbacks. One of my topics was a guy had came into my hotel, an employee, and he had like the updated Razor phone, and so like back in the day, it was like it was like the Game of Thrones. You had certain houses. You either were like a Razor guy, you were like a Sidekick person, or that LG chocolate was big at the same time too. So it was like,
or just like a standard BlackBerry with
Yeah.
like the
like
key.
BlackBerry, Sidekick, Razor, LG chocolate. I was a Razor, and I thought I was like this shit when I got a Razor.
I had the Chrome Razor.
Ooh.
Yeah, I had a few of them. I had a black one. Like the black one was mine, and then somehow I ended up with the Chrome one. I think somebody like in my family wasn't using it anymore, so I took it.
Yeah.
Because now they don't have SIM cards really in most of the phones. You used to be able to just pop your SIM card in and be
Yeah,
like, okay.
that made me feel like a boomer. I got like my iPhone 14. I'm like, what do I do with your SIM card? And he's
Yeah,
like,
well,
it doesn't have a
it is
SIM
like
card. You
It
old
is like a
bastard.
last 2-year thing. Like they got rid of.
I'm
SIM
like, oh,
cards.
they don't have SIM cards anymore.
I grew up with Sprint. We never had SIM cards. It wasn't a thing.
Yeah. That was the coolest part. You just pop it out to like your phone that you had and just pop it into the new
I
one.
grew up with Singular Wireless.
That's
There you go.
Remember Singular Wireless?
I do remember Singular Wireless.
But we've been, talking about loyalty. We were AT&T customers because we were Singular when they bought it. That's loyalty.
I'm a T-Mobile customer because they bought
you go.
Sprint. Actually, because we were on Nextel, and then we got acquired by Sprint, and then we got acquired by T-Mobile. It's been
You
a fun
had to
ride.
work for your text back in the day too.
Yeah.
I mean, you had to hit sometimes the number 3 times and then go to the next number and
Ooh, I used to think I'm so good at that.
My first cell phone was like that, and like all you could do was play Snake. Like I used to spend so many hours playing Snake, bored with my friends. Like 3 a.m, girls are over, and they're like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm playing Snake." Like,
yeah. Welcome back from the intermission.
That's why I'm doing that.
There you go. Oh no, I was gonna say something. Shit, I done lost my track of thought. now.
Related to Mike Jones?
That was not related to Mike Jones. It's related to phones, but we probably killed that subject. We can move on.
Well, I remember one time I was talking to a girl. She asked to use my phone for the class, and by the time the class was over, like all my data was used up, and I was so depressed.
Oh, dude. No, that's what I was gonna say. People would call me, and I'd have to be like, "No, call me in a minute," or call me
after 9. The data's free after 9.
Well, there was used to be like AT&T to AT&T was free.
Yeah.
It's like if you met somebody that didn't have AT&T, it's like,
yeah,
that sucks.
That was the first
red flag.
Yeah.
That was the first blue text message back in the day.
Yeah.
Damn, I'm old.
Oh, good times, man.
Have you seen? Have you seen Inside Out 2?
No, I haven't.
I plan on seeing it tomorrow.
I swear to God, my brain goes left sometimes. Like watching that clip where I said pterodactyl, it literally was because you made a joke and I was like, I have no idea what to say now.
I watched it like 5 times. I was dying laughing every time because you're just like ready to lock in. You're like, and as soon as I said it, you're like, fuck. You're like,
No, so I asked about it because there's, I said I'm old and we're sitting here doing nostalgic stuff and there is one of the emotions. I'm not going to first of all, spoiler. Cool. Do that on purpose just in case, maybe we got some Inside Out fans out there. There's one emotion that is nostalgia and all these other emotions come at a certain time and then randomly nostalgia comes in and it's like this old woman drinking a cup of coffee and they're like, not yet. And she's like, you remember that time?
Is that's the joke for the parents in the movie?
Basically, yeah.
All the kids movies have to have parent jokes in it now.
Yeah. This movie is definitely aimed at older kids though. Like daughter loved it. It's still Inside Out, but it's about a teenage girl now. So it's definitely different. It revolves around anxiety and who you are as a person and why are we getting this deep, Disney? Can we just laugh?
what was the one with the panda? It wasn't called Angry, but it was something.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And it was a big emotional kind of
Yeah, I can't remember.
talk about your feelings type movie.
Yeah, I know.
I think it was just called Red, wasn't it?
Band. It is Red. Yeah. I was trying to think of the boy band. I knew all those songs from it, and I can't think of
That
them.
movie was okay. We watched it. Kason watched it for a hot minute. It was his movie, but of all the movie he's gotten hooked on, that one was the least amount of time.
Well, it's kind of about a girl going through puberty in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so is Inside Out too.
Yeah.
Literally, that's what it's about. So that's fun. Prepare your butts.
Prepare your butts. What else did I have written down here? We can stick with nostalgia. That said things that aren't around anymore that you miss.
Well, they came back, but I would say Dunkaroos.
Okay.
Yeah, they definitely just came back though, so it doesn't count anymore.
They had some Dunkaroos too.
You know what I miss? Dead serious. I miss getting in my 1987 Honda Prelude that has limo tent and leaning over to my stereo system that has a touch screen and hearing the bloop, 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 when you hit the button. I don't know what it was about that. And then the speaker in the back. I miss that. I would never do that again because I'm old.
The speakers in the back.
The subwoofers.
What a time.
I feel like that was. Is that a trend? I guess
That's a trend.
It could be
because I definitely fell for this. I know you had the subs. I definitely had subs.
Were you guys the assholes that had the outdoor speaker that you put under the car?
No, I wasn't that crazy.
I didn't like when people did it cheaply and it would rattle the whole thing and it just sounded terrible.
You got to get the liner, man. You got to get it.
Yeah.
It was you either needed the liner or good speakers. That didn't do it.
Yeah.
That I had a Jeep. It was a 01 Grand Cherokee. And he could vouch for it sounded clean on the inside of it.
Yeah.
But the bass was nuts. My stepdad had spent a ton of money on it.
First of all, every SUV was a cheat code.
Yeah,
you just threw them in the back, and it was just the hardest.
See, I had a 03 Kia Optima, and
yeah.
As much as I tried to stop the rattle, I'm like.
But he he did it for one of my birthdays for me, and had a custom box built that recirculated the air to make it sound even bassier.
I used to be best friends with dudes at Car Audio Connection over in Harahan. That's right. I remember the name of it. This was 20 years ago. And I got so much like great JL audio
That's
stuff
what I
from
had.
them,
Yep,
and
we had
like
a bunch of JL stuff.
super top of the line stuff. My car sounded phenomenal, and it was like the most 90s era. Even though it was like the 2000s when I was driving this thing, it was like the most 90s era Honda Prelude with like big rims, a pipe.
Yeah.
Like man,
That was kind of like the cool nostalgia, though. It's like going to Best Buy and like finding like the Pioneer, like finding the head unit that you had to have in the car, and you could be able to change the colors on, and it changed the different settings
flashing
and
different
yeah.
colors. Did you install it yourself?
Now you
or
just
did you know?
plug in your phone, and it's just like, all right, it's connected. You know?
Most cars you don't even have like new cars.
Yeah, some
like brand new
wireless.
cars?
You know, it's not as fun.
You literally just hit play and drop your phone,
Yeah.
and it's like
I'm thinking of going with green color today. You know, it's like not near as fun.
my phone literally shows my car literally shows my phone screen now. It's like, oh, you have a text message from so and so. I'm like, get out of here.
Where's my subwoofers?
It's great.
I do. There are times where I'm like, I wonder if I could put some under the seat, and it would say, like, but then you're like, probably not good for the kids.
I know some of like the new trucks and stuff will have like subwoofers like underneath the back seats and stuff like that.
My cousin's has, he's got one of those GMCs that like folds down in the middle. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
But it's got the part that folds down into like a bench. Has like a built-in Bluetooth speaker basically.
That's cool.
So it's like a tailgate where you can hook it up to the trunk of or to the bed of your truck. I was like, of all the features this thing has, that's the coolest one.
That's pretty cool.
I missed something that may be actually having a comeback. I think I saw you retweeted the Pizza Hut buffet.
Brother.
I mean,
Pizza Hut buffets. What a time. I have like a soft spot for Pizza Hut buffets because when I was in elementary school, this is before Katrina, like every 2-3 weeks, my mom would come check me out of school on her lunch break, and we would go to the Pizza Hut buffet and just have lunch together.
What a flex. Massive flex. Like just high schooler getting checked out or whatever. Someone in school getting checked out to go eat lunch.
Yeah, she'd just check me out, and then I'd just stay home for the rest of the day.
yeah.
But like
What a time.
it was always the Pizza Hut buffet, unless it was my birthday, and then we went to CC's because CC's was my favorite pizza place.
There you go.
Still, like if we're just talking like if I can just eat as much pizza as I possibly can, I'm still going to CC's.
What's your go-to dessert at CC's? Because there's a few to choose
cinnamon
from.
rolls.
Cinnamon rolls?
If they're like fresh out, you know, if they've been there for a while, they kind of lose their luster, and then I'm gonna go for the brownies with the powdered sugar.
Yeah,
But if it's fresh out the oven, those rolls
I'm
all
not.
day.
I'm not much. I'm
Not a
not a
dessert
really dessert person. No, I'm gonna fill up on like the breadsticks and the pizza.
What's the pizza then? There's 1,000 different pizzas. What's
I'm
your
a
go-to pizza?
sucker for like Alfredo, the pepperoni Alfredo pizza, or just like a good standard.
You didn't want the
pepperoni.
taco? Hey, yo, tacos
I'm-
up. That's
I'm
right up
not-
in there.
The buffalo chicken pizza's pretty good.
Yeah, I don't experiment with my pizza a lot. Like I know what I like from my pizza.
They got some dessert pizza at CC's. The like apple pie dessert pizza. It's got like the little white
The
icing
little
on
cream
top.
On top? Yeah. I was a brownie guy. That's what I was asking. I was just curious.
I like the brownies. I miss the not that it's not the end of the world, but when you used to go to Walmart, they used to hand you the little yellow smiley face stickers.
You remember?
Now they get mad at you if you try to walk out, even after you go to self checkout. It's like I already did your job. Half the times you go with a cashier and they still want to check it.
I had to go through. I was gonna bring something else up, but you just made me think of. I went to Sam's today, and I always like I'm a scan and go, to the core. That is what I'm doing at Sam's, and it won't work on my phone right now for some reason. And I had to go through the checkout line, and I was like, "This is hell." And I was only like, "There's only one person in front of me." Like, this is miserable. This is the only reason. This is why I come to Sam's, so that I don't have to wait in lines.
Yeah.
And I had to do it. I was like, "This is the worst."
You know, a lot of places are doing away with self-checkout now. Like they're trying to make people go back to
Not Sam's. Our Sam's. I don't know when the last time you've been there is.
like yesterday.
Oh, they installed the thing now. That
Oh yeah.
It's gonna start. It's gonna take away the people that check your receipts. You're just gonna walk out. It's gonna scan your basket, and that's how you.
Well, that's what they have. We actually did that last time we went. You have the thing on your phone, and as you're putting stuff in the cart, you scan it on your phone.
Yeah, that's the scan and go.
Oh, that's what that is?
Yeah. But no, you know how they check your receipt? They give you a barcode if you do it that way. This is you're not gonna get that anymore. It's gonna just it's got cameras
Put the
all
shit in
in
your
it.
cart.
Yeah, it's just gonna like scan your cart as you go through, basically. I think like you shop at Whole Foods, so maybe you have experienced it. like Whole Foods, some of them have like smart baskets where as you put the items in the basket, it like rings it up for you.
I've never seen that, to be honest with you. I heard they did it, but I've never been to it.
I've heard they started doing those stores like you walk in and then you can grab whatever and then when you leave it
just charges you. Weird. I have noticed the weirdest thing to me when I go to Whole Foods is they're like, you can pay by chip, and it's literally like you can wave your hand over. I'm like, first of all,
how does that happen?
Who's got a chip that can pay for things?
Yeah.
I need to meet them, and I need to understand why.
See, I've been having bad luck with like the self checkout or like it's a short line, and I'm like, hey, this is right here, and then they haven't. Something goes wrong, and they have to have somebody come and scan something, or they got to look up an item, or they're having issues, and I'm like, then this other line just flying by, and I'm like,
Self checkout is very hit or miss because like they're not all created equally. Like Walmart's, Targets, they work great. When Dixie, they got the tricky one where you have to leave the like Targets, you can bag it and take it off. When Dixie, you have to leave yours on there for a certain amount of time.
yeah, it's like bag.
If you do it too early, they got to come reset it for you. It's like this. So when Dixie, I never use self checkout. I'm like, I'm just gonna wait in this line, and because if I'm having trouble with it, Blanche and Margaret are certainly having trouble with it.
Oh, Blanche and Margaret.
They're yelling at somebody midway through.
Oh, I got upset at a Blanche yesterday at the grocery. I didn't get upset at her, but in my brain I was very upset.
Yeah.
I was just going to get steaks, and this happens all the time. I don't understand why it takes people so long to pick out meat. I don't. Like, I understand, like, there's certain things you're looking for, right? Like, if you're looking for a steak, you want certain things. It does not take as long as some of these people. They'll get up there. You know, and I'm standing, and I'm trying not to be rude. Like, I see the one I want.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm just going to grab this one. And I'm standing there waiting. I'm trying not to be rude, just get in their way. Because it's usually an older person.
Oh.
I'm like, I'm going to let you do your thing. But at a certain point, I'm like, we got to speed this the fuck up. Like, what are we looking at here? You've been looking at the same 5 pieces of meat for 20 minutes. I don't understand what the hell is taking so long. Am I alone in this?
No, you're not. I used to feel that way. I've tried to be better about it because I try not to be a douche.
I didn't say anything. I stood there and waited.
So,
but
what I was going to say is, but I feel like it backfires on me sometimes because I'll literally just stand there and wait. And I feel like they can feel me waiting. And they'll turn around and look at me sometimes and be like, oh, I'm so sorry. And in my head, I'm like, no, it's fine. But like, I know that I look like the asshole. It's like, can you please? Come on, Blanche.
I don't understand. Like, what are we looking at?
I don't get it either. I'll be honest.
It's like you're checking the weight and the price. And the general look of it.
The marbleization.
Yeah.
We're talking steaks here. What are we talking
but like it doesn't. You don't have to study it. Like, like you know pretty quickly.
Listen, some people are just really bad at making choices. Like you can't give people choices. They're bad at it.
One thing that does aggravate me, kind of in the same vein, I keep seeing these videos of people they get wine poured and they like toss it in the glass and they like raise it up and they're looking at it and they drink it and they swish it around and like. Go ahead. I'm like, is it?
That's the proper way to taste test.
But is it really that complicated that you have to like swirl around and like see what it looks like? Like to me, just taste it. If it tastes good, it tastes good.
Yeah, there's a lot of things they're looking for there. I've heard the people explain it, but like to me, like
sommeliers or whatever.
Yeah. Like I can taste the difference in some good wines because like I've had a decent amount of good wine, but like. I don't get some of that's got to be for show.
Yeah,
it's got to be for show.
Yeah, it's all a placebo effect.
I don't really drink wine, but beer is a similar thing. Certain beers are supposed to be poured in certain types of glasses, and like I have friends that are very like when they go to restaurants, they want like if this beer is not supposed to be chilled, they want it warm and in a hot glass. I'm like, I just want the beer.
Yeah, and
like I don't know how much the temperature I could see playing a role in it a lot more, but like the shape of the glass, I'm like. Just pour this shit in the glass and let's get the show on the road.
I mean, that matters for one. The shape of glass matters. Normally when they're shaking it like that, they're like trying to see if we can get weird. Yeah. They're trying to see like the legs is what they call it, like how it's running down the glass. It tells you the difference.
Sounds like a budge.
I'd love to go to a wine tasting with like super like wine aficionados and just be like like as they're all doing this thing, I just get each one, chug it.
So when we did the Miracle League event, I won a free wine
Whatever
event
happened to
that
that?
we've never gone to. We still have it. We
Let's
just haven't
go.
planned it.
Guess what we're doing soon? I thought about that the other day. I went to Total Wine for something. I was like, and they were doing one of the testings. I was like, I'm pretty sure we have a set of free
100%.
wine tastings.
We do.
Just piss people off. Wow, red. Definitely red. Definitely red.
Yep. That looks red.
Yeah.
Sounds like content.
The bubbles are bubbling in this.
We're not gonna forget about it this time. We're gonna make it happen because
Yeah.
I do think it would be fun. Like I would taste anything they give me. Like I generally don't like wine, but that seems like a fun thing to do with the right people.
Yeah, I would definitely do that.
Oh,
Be cool. Be cool.
what,
Fun.
what else? I don't have that. The only other thing I had written down were unsubscribe buttons are a scam.
They are.
Like
Sort of.
Yeah, well, I feel like sometimes when I hit unsubscribe, if it asks me to type in my email, I'm like, I'm not doing it because this is just signing me up for more shit. So if I hit unsubscribe and it says, you've been unsubscribed, I'm like, all right, I'm good. But if it says, please enter your email, I'm like, all right, first of all, y'all don't even know what y'all are doing. Like,
Yeah.
if I type in my email, I'm getting sent to 10
They're
other places.
so-
that was generally my point. Was
Yeah.
that every time because I go through, I'm very like keep things in order like digitally. So every couple months I go through and I just.
Mhm.
Every day I'm unsubscribing for like a week and
Yeah.
it seems to get back to normal. But then like 2 weeks later it comes back. It's like a gray hair. You pull it and
It comes back.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I've done it
there's
before. They
but
just
there's
keep
so
coming
much
back.
more. I'm like, what?
You know what's
What
crazy
is this
about
fidelity life? I don't need to.
Some of them like try to trick you too. Like you have to click on 7 different things before you can officially.
Yeah, it's like, which one do you want to be unsubscribed from? I'm like, all of it. You never show up in my emails again.
Sometimes it'll also word it funny to try and trick
Yeah.
you. It'll be like, you selected to unsubscribe. Do you want to stay subscribed? And it's like a big yes. And
Yeah.
like if you've already clicked unsubscribe and you see yes, you're probably just like clicking like get me through this stuff.
Well, they've so like Apple's added the thing now sometimes where if you open up one of those, you can just hit unsubscribe and they like send an email out for you and do it. So that's been helpful. But I'm still getting a ton, and I think that's what it is. The ones where I'm typing in my email address,
I don't trust it.
and then I'm gonna start typing. You know what? I'm gonna test it. I'm gonna type in the email address that I have, but I rarely use. And if
Yeah.
I start getting
Start
the
getting
emails
spam.
there, we'll know if it's working.
It's a setup.
Yeah.
Ton of spam.
Ugh.
I think it's technically illegal for them to continue to send you things after you unsubscribe.
Unsubscribe. Yeah, but they're like, if we pass it to someone else, then technically we did legally our part.
Yeah.
It stresses me out because, like, when I see that I have like 20 emails or whatever, I'm like, oh, maybe there's some cool shit in here. It's just 15 spams and 5 things that matter.
Mine's all new credit card offers. Congratulations, you just got this offer. And I'm like, I don't care. I don't want
Mine's
that.
a million different types of life insurance and God knows what.
Mine's all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to see if I had any like weird ones, like not deleted, but I don't.
I'm sure.
My OCD kicks in. I gotta delete like as soon as the notification pops
Oh.
up. I have an
Oh, I've got
email.
175 emails right now.
Oh God.
I would take your phone. It's just like
I literally will delete like 50 at a time, and they
Yeah.
just come back. And I'm
I
like,
don't have like notifications. Like right now, I have that, and that stresses me out.
Yeah.
Just a few of them.
yeah, that
I have to get rid of it. I have to. I can't handle it.
yeah. For some reason, I'm signed up to Base, which is like a female bag company that I bought my wife a bag, and I unsubscribed, and I still get emails. It's great.
you're subscribed forever.
I get Victoria's Secret emails. I'm like, I don't even how why how does that happen? But
Southwest.
yeah, I don't. That's another thing though. Like I'll put my email in on a site to get the 15% off your first order or whatever, and then just never stop the emails. So I'm getting emails from shit I haven't ordered from in
Oh,
5 years.
Oh yeah.
But I've said in the past, I'm also the Michael Jordan of forgetting to cancel subscriptions. So like it kind of falls in that vein. I'm once again having a gym membership that I haven't used in 5 months that I just refuse to go
That's
cancel.
tough. Is it still Planet Fitness?
No, I did that one.
Oh, good.
This is Anytime Fitness, which is
I
$55
was gonna say, it's more
more
money.
than Planet Fitness.
That sucks.
I saw you a couple weeks ago. You were talking about like the buy now, pay later. I saw Apple's getting. You just said Apple. I saw Apple's getting rid of it.
Yeah, they're getting rid of theirs, but it's only so that they can allow like a firm and stuff. They'll just use them instead, so it's
But
okay.
I wonder if they were like finding out that people weren't paying later. They were just getting the shit and then just not paying it.
No, the Apple Card thing is like a whole. I don't know. It's a whole.
Are they doing away with that? Is that what's happening?
I don't think so. I think it's pretty hard for the Goldman Sachs wants like no part of it anymore. But I think somebody else is gonna come in and take over.
I didn't know if they were taking away the actual technology of being able to connect like your card to Apple Pay, or if they were just doing away with like their cards.
No, so Apple has. They had, you know how we were talking about Affirm, like paying for. Apple did their own version of it, and it was only around for a couple months, and now they're. So it's weird that they're just not doing it.
Boomer soon.
I don't know, but yeah, I'm buying like 2 more things with this on this pay later stuff. And it's starting to add up quick.
Are they microphones?
No, they need to be microphones. I don't even know what you ever go through these phases? So I always want to like go buy cool shit, you know. But like I go through these phases where I'm just like I'm gonna buy a bunch of shit.
Yeah.
Like I've been having my eyes on things. I'm like, for some reason now I'm gonna just go buy all of it.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of in that phase right now.
I do that.
And then I'm like, fuck, my credit cards are getting loaded up here.
I do it all the time.
It's always right. It's like I finally like pay off all the credit cards. I'm like, yeah, they're all paid off, and it's like
sweet.
Put
it back on.
Now I got more money to spend.
I always do like it happens on my Best Buy card the most because Best Buy will give you like if you have a Best Buy card you get like 24 months no interest or whatever. So like I'll go buy a TV and I'm paying it off for like it never takes me 2 years. But like I'm finally paying it off. I'm like now I can go buy something else that's $2,000.
Actually, have a gripe. We actually bought a TV recently from Best Buy. So in the same vein where it was like I was looking at it for a while and then eventually we were just like let's just go get it. Yeah. So we went and got it. Best Buy makes it really hard to buy a TV. First of all, like I just wanted to grab a TV that was on the floor, go check out at the register, and leave. Instead, they had to walk me through these different categories and understand what I was looking for and try and sell me all this different crap. I was like, bro, this is the TV I want. It says it's this price on sale.
Here's the SKU number.
Where is it?
Here's the SKU. Here's the price.
Nah, I just buy it online.
And he's like, well, I have to go in the back and make sure we have it. I'm like, okay, cool. Go see. I was already a little annoyed because I just wanted to grab it off the floor, but whatever. He goes in the back. He comes back out. He's like, hey, we got it. And I'm like, all right, can I get it? Yeah. He's like, oh, let me go grab it. I'm like, what are we doing?
I'm just buying it online and picking it up. I'm not doing all of that. I will go in Best Buy 2 or 3 times before I buy it and just go look at it. And then I'll know that I'm buying it online and then I'm just going to pick it up and we're going to roll. Yeah. Like y'all not about to get me with nothing. When I go to Best Buy, I generally know by then. Like I'm not going there for like research purposes. Me too. I know what I'm going for.
That was the point. I knew what I wanted. I was like, just
I stopped buying.
Give me what I want.
I stopped buying stuff in Best Buy. Like it's all just online. Go pick it up. I will go and look at it in person one time and make sure I like it. Yeah. There's been times where I've done that and bought it on my phone in the store and just got it for pickup.
Just to avoid talking to them.
Just to avoid people.
When I tell you I was so frustrated, my wife literally was like trying to calm me down as we're leaving because I was just like annoyed. I was like, why can't I just buy? And then they had to like bring it out to me. I couldn't even walk out with the thing. They had to bring it to my car and put it in. And then you feel obligated to tip because they helped you put it in the car.
That's a whole... You're tipping the person.
I didn't tip them. I didn't have any cash.
But you would have?
Yeah, I used to.
That doesn't even cross my mind.
It should.
That's somebody that should
because I used to work in that role, not at Best Buy, at like Academy. And if you have to carry out a 300-pound grill and some grandma, you know, those grandmas.
I guess it's because like I always feel like I never let them do it themselves. Yeah. Like I'm always helping. So I guess in my head I'm like, if I'm doing equal amounts of work, I don't feel like
it's not a tip role, but like people get tipped for it.
A while ago I'd asked because y'all talked about tips all the time, but you just said kind of like my whole point about like the tipping culture. 20% or more every single time I go, but you brought up like if you do it yourself, like if I go, for example, I went to Salad Station the other day. I literally make everything that I'm making. Yeah. And I set it on, he said, set it on the scale. He sets it on the scale and then it turns around and offers for a tip. I'm like, I literally did everything.
That might be different.
And I'm like, I'm fine with the tipping, but it's like I went to Starbucks. I was in the drive-thru. I got like one like coffee. Mm-hmm. And I go and then they turn it and they ask for a tip.
At Starbucks?
$1.
Okay.
But I'm like, when I worked at Wendy's in the cashier and like I'm making the nuggets and the fries and stuff, it was like never a thought that they should tip me for doing this. And now it's like what is the threshold? Like, when does it stop?
You know what's funny is like fast food workers probably should be a tipped role. If you're tipping at a restaurant where they're making the food and bringing it to you, why aren't you tipping at a fast food place? They're doing the same thing, just quicker.
Yeah.
But
it's because they get paid a different wage, I think is the argument.
Yeah,
like they
true.
get paid a real wage, which isn't a real wage, but they
Yeah.
get paid a real wage.
But you're like, you asked about tip at Starbucks. If I do it on the app, I don't. Because it makes it's not like, it's weird. Like when you go to a coffee shop, like most ones we go to, you swipe it, they turn around, it's like, do you want a tip? Before I even pay. When you order things on the app, it's not as clear.
Yeah.
Or like even like Uber's bad about this, where it tells you afterwards, like, brother, once I'm out this Uber and I close this app, I'm not opening it back up.
I'm not gonna remember to tip you until 2 months from now when I open this app.
Yeah.
Well, like Chipotle and like Five Guys, like all those like where you order and they'll have it on the shelf. Like as you order, it says, "Would you like to tip the workers?" I'm like, like I'm doing the work to go pick it up.
It's very situational.
You're just making, like I don't know.
It's very situational. Like I said, coffee usually for me, because I go so often to the same place, it's usually like every day or every other day. It's like $1 every time.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that's fair. Because over a week.
How much money do you think they're raking in? Like
all the time.
Like a Starbucks cashier, just literally handing you the coffee. I mean, obviously they got to split it with everybody, but they're getting at least $1 probably on every single.
You know how many people go through there?
Yeah.
Starbucks does some business.
Yeah. I've had a couple tipping situations come up since we talked about that are different than what we mentioned. So one of them, I signed up for the new Target Circle thing that they started doing, where you get like.
You sign up for the dumbest shit. I never know.
This is like Amazon
Prime
for Target. So
all right.
I got that, but it comes with Ship It or Shipped, whatever that thing's called, where they like do your grocery shopping or whatever for you. So we had to order. We needed another car seat one day, and we needed it like that day, but we didn't have time to go to the store. So I was able to order it, and it was same day. It's like if it's over $35, they bring it to you.
Right.
And they actually just tip because they're shopping for you. It was the first time ever doing it, so I'm like, how do you tip here? Because they tell you tip 20%. Car seat was $100. I'm like, but like the problem was I got it on sale actually because it was like $120 car seat that I got for like $85, and then after tax it was like $100. So if I ended up giving them the $20 tip, I didn't save any money on this car seat. So I'm like, it's one thing. And you're probably just grabbing it real quick. I'm going to tip you. But I'm like, how do you tip in these scenarios? I almost feel like it should be by like distance traveled. Yeah. More so than like what I buy. Now, if I have you running all over Target for me, if I need clothes and groceries and this.
That's how I measure it. And it's like, effort put into doing it. So that's why like when I go to if I go to like Starbucks and I get like one coffee and they make it and I'm like, I'm not gonna give you more than like $1 because you just made my coffee. But if you're like, that's why I feel like at a restaurant you're there for 40 minutes to an hour and they're like going all over the place and busting, and then you're like, all right, well you work for it. But like Salad Station, the guy that I'm having to tip $3 is in the same spot when I enter the door. And then when I leave, he's in the same spot. Like, I'm not tipping you $3 for telling me to put it on the scale.
DoorDash falls under the same thing for me. Because DoorDash is more of a thing where I'm like, I feel like I need to tip you by how much you drove. Because, like, you didn't make the food. All you're doing is going to get it for me and bringing it to me. Mm-hmm. Like, if I'm asking you to get something, like, right down the street, or, like, if I'm getting a big meal, that shouldn't matter for my tip to you. It should matter, like, how far you're coming to me. Yeah. I don't feel like my tip for you should matter whether I'm asking you to get me one burger from Five Guys or an entire meal from a hibachi place. Like, the amount of food I don't think should matter. Why should that matter?
I don't know. I don't think it's that deep. I don't get that deep into it.
It's because the tips they recommend are based off of the amount of food you buy. Yeah. So that's why it matters, because I'm like, I don't want to tip that. Like, that don't feel... But I feel bad because I'm like, I don't...
See, I was a delivery driver for Domino's, so like that affected me a lot. Like if someone got $125 worth of pizza, obviously, not that it really mattered to me, but it's kind of like, I expected the tip to be more because it was $125 worth of pizza that I'm delivering, mm-hmm. versus if someone just got like some fudge brownies, the lava cakes, and I'm just like, I'm not really expecting much.
Right.
It's weird. I don't know. The other scenario was we went out to eat tonight, and we had a large party. Is what it said. It was like 6 people, and they automatically tip
Automatic gratuity.
18%.
Mm-hmm. They fuck themselves.
I only
Dumb.
I only gave them the difference in what I would have tipped originally.
Yeah.
I'm not tipping 20% on top
See,
of 18.
I do the same thing. I figure like what 20% would be because I'm like,
Yeah.
it's like, all right, look, you already got the 18. Here's what it would, and it feels so awkward because sometimes you're like $3.75.
It was like $4.
Yeah.
But I'm
Then you
like,
feel like an asshole tipping $3, but like you already got 18.
There was a point where if it was like, if you added auto gratuity, I was like, okay, cool. And I would just leave. I'd be like, cool, done. I have started to add more, but like.
I will tell you, if it had been more than 20% auto gratuity, I wouldn't have added anything. But because it was less, I did at least make up the difference. But like, I'm not tipping you 38%. Like, you're out your mind.
Well, they don't tell you that shit either. Like we went a few weeks ago, we went out to Lafayette and we had a big party, and so everyone ends up tipping, and then my friend tips. We're like, "How much did you tip?" And we're like, "Yeah, the gratuity's already added." He's like, "The gratuity's already added?" He's like, "Well, shit, she just got like a shit ton of money from me."
The only reason I noticed it was because it said additional gratuity.
Yeah.
I was like, ah.
There you go.
They don't tell you that.
They probably think I'm cheap because I only tipped an extra $4. But
If you can't afford to tip, don't go out to eat.
that's not the issue. I can afford the tip,
Mhm.
but I'm not gonna tip an unnecessary amount. It's just not gonna happen.
Unless you like Hawk Tuah. Well, I mean, you know.
Not in a restaurant. Don't spit on my food.
Well, if you're not tipping, they're going to remember you.
Again, we did tip. I just didn't tip 38%.
There you
Yeah.
go.
There's just I feel like I'm reasonable. Like I don't-
38% is unreasonable. I'll be honest.
Yeah,
Nobody's
that's
saying
way too
38%.
much.
Unless you're just in a really good mood for some reason. Good for you.
I'm a blessed person.
There you go. Blessings on blessings.
Do we have anything fun we can end with?
I'm dead.
We had some fun, but maybe we can
What
save
you
it. Save it for when we when the mics are a little.
I can wake up.
Throw it out there as a teaser and we'll decide.
We kind of brought it up last week about the top greatest sports moments,
Yeah. Okay.
and so you kind of gave me an idea that altered my answers because you brought up.
I know. I gave you all my answers, which ruins the reaction.
I didn't hear any of them.
Improvements.
I didn't hear any of your answers, to be fair.
Well, there you go. Well, just maybe it'll change your answers for next week.
No, what? What?
Are we doing that? What?
Are we doing it now?
Let's do it now. We're here.
do it now.
Let's do it. We can wrap it up.
We'll do it live.
Fuck it, I'll do it live.
Are we going? What are we? How many are we doing?
Oh, I gotta come up with these. I thought
That's what I was saying. That's what we're maybe we can do one and then we'll
if
do
we're
like
gonna do it now, let's just kind of spitball it. Like just whatever comes to your mind. If you want to do a ranking, let's do it next week.
Okay. We'll just do so. Greatest sports move. Say it again.
Fuck it, I'll do it live. So I'll just start towards the bottom because I know how to do rankings properly. You know.
This is,
Yeah, are we doing rankings or are we just spitballing?
This
Just
is all
spitballing?
over.
if you got rankings, you can give them to me
I
as
don't
your
have
rankings.
rankings.
I don't have rankings.
Well, these are just kind of they're not in any particular order, so we'll just spitball.
So these
it.
are your favorite sports moments in your life, or like the greatest moments you've witnessed? What is this?
These are just like your top sports moments. Tomato, tomato.
Yeah. Potato, tomato.
Okay.
So, kind of what he had teased at last week was he had some like from films and then some that actually happened in real life.
It's not true.
It wasn't. Well, I'll just
It's
go
sort of true.
myself. Well,
The
then
whole, point, the whole point of my list was for you guys to give real sports moments and then me to be like, dude, when the Russians were cheering for Rocky, just the best moment of all time, right?
Well, I still had some from movies.
Go for it. What you got?
I had Happy sinking the putt to win the gold jacket at the
Nice.
very end.
Nice. That's a good one. Do you want to throw out one or I'll throw out another one?
Y'all can just keep going.
Dude,
right
when-
now, I got nothing.
When Benny the Jet knocked the cover off the baseball, I've never seen that happen before in my whole life.
I had Looney Tunes beating the Monstars.
Damn it, that's what I was gonna say.
Okay.
And then the rest are actual moments in my life.
The Wild Thing entrance. Pretty good.
I
Turns around
had,
the glasses.
we talked about it briefly. Tiger winning the Masters.
You got one?
Got one.
You got one?
What you
I
Yeah.
had Tiger winning the Masters for me.
What is-
Tiger Woods was one of my favorite athletes growing up, and so to see like
The last Masters.
yeah, 2019, where it was just like
That was a moment.
That was
almost shed a manly tear. I'm like, this is my idol, and he's just
When he hugs Charlie.
yeah, and he hugs his son.
pretty good.
Yeah.
Got to
When it's real silent in the crowd and everybody starts. I love it when you call me Big Pop. But what a moment!
It's a good one. There's a terrible moment right after that, though.
Yeah.
So we're not going to talk about that. That is the most heartbreaking movie I've ever seen in my whole life.
agree.
And I've seen the bad ones.
R.I.P.
R.I.P.
G baby.
Oh, G baby. The Mighty Ducks Flying V.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm blanking on the movie ones for some reason.
I had for me, same thing with the idol growing up. I was a big Barry Bonds guy, so Barry Bonds hitting the home run to break the record. I remember watching it in my room, and it was just like, just to see history like that, steroids aside.
People don't respect it.
He was a great pirate before he got a big-headed possible steroids.
They don't acknowledge him. He is not their tribal chief.
He was technically never.
Poor guy.
Yeah.
Best baseball player
You
of
still,
all time.
steroids regardless, you still have to put the damn bat to the ball.
Yeah.
I mean, you
Yeah.
still have to hit the ball.
We've talked about this before, like season 1, episode 2, probably,
Yeah.
where we both agreed he is
Yeah.
arguably the greatest baseball player of all time.
Yeah. Gold Glover multiple times.
Yeah. Even without steroids, you could argue he is
He
the
was a
greatest
great,
baseball
he was
player
like,
of all
he
time.
won MVP as a pirate.
Yeah.
Skinny Bonds, I mean,
He still hits 400 something home runs and has like
so many stolen bases.
yeah, like
and
things
stuff.
that
Yeah.
nobody else has done.
Yeah.
People
You
were
can't
mad
argue
because they
against
said when they had the game yesterday or the day before with the Giants and the Cardinals, they were saying when he said he could take Satchel Paige deep like instantly, and they're like, I'm like, because he could. He's going to take anybody who throws a ball to like
Did you watch him
into the
play?
water at the Giants stadium.
I think
like
what made people upset about that too is like because you had Griffey right next to him, and
Yeah.
Griffey's personality is almost the complete opposite.
Yeah.
So Griffey's like being humble about it, and Bob's is like, "Take him up fucking yard."
Yeah.
Griffey's like, he's just like, "I'm a drag butt."
Yeah.
Where what's funny is both of them are taking whoever it is
right.
yard.
Anybody who's throwing a baseball, either one of them are taking them yard.
Also, we can't put Barry Bonds in the Hall of Fame, but we can have him on the MLB
Yeah.
show and do it. Like, is he part of the sport or is he not part of the sport?
Yeah.
Let's make up our mind here.
Well, it's the same thing. Like Pete Rose forever was on Baseball Tonight. He was like on all these baseball shows,
Well,
but he was.
there was
not
a
allowed in the
segment
Hall
where
of
they
Fame.
had him and Pete Rose and Alex Rodriguez just talking about hitting. And it's like one of the, if you're like a baseball nerd, it was one of the coolest segments ever. And you're like, neither one of these two guys exist in baseball history.
Yeah, don't even know who they are.
Yeah,
who are these two guys? They know a lot of stuff.
If they played, they would have been great.
Jeez.
I'm trying to think more. For some reason, like heartbreaking moments seem to stand out more to me. I'm thinking like Friday Night Lights when they come like half a yard short.
Oh, that's rough.
There's not a ton that I could think of that are good moments.
My top is obviously the Steelers and Cardinals Super Bowl.
Yeah,
Big Ben throws it in the corner, toe tap to Santonio Holmes. That's hard to.
Pretty good Super Bowl.
Yeah,
That's up there.
yeah. It's got to be the same Super Bowl for me. Like,
Yeah,
I can't. And then honestly, it might be like the first game back in the Dome might be right after that. It's pretty high up there, even though like it's kind of a meaningless game in like the grand scheme of things. That moment is up there, and then like probably like the Rangers World Series is like my top 3 if I had to. The Saints have a lot.
was Breeze like his final game? Was that like for me like seeing Ben go out in the final home game?
That
was,
didn't hit the same because it was in an empty stadium.
Yeah, it was weird. It was very weird.
I mean, there's a lot of like I was there for all of like the record-breaking moments for him. Like those kind of stand out, but it's like I don't know. It doesn't like it's a cool moment to see, but it doesn't hit the same.
Yeah.
Like probably getting. I don't know. Winning the NFC Championship to get to the Super Bowl is higher than the majority of. That's honest to God. That is this close to winning the Super Bowl.
it was pretty exciting.
I know. I think my grandma's even said like that almost meant more to her because a lot of them say, and I really believe it when she says it. She's like, I knew we were gonna win. She was like, it didn't matter. After
You
that.
could feel it. You really could feel it.
like getting to that point was almost like enough, almost.
Yeah, but we're winners and we close out games.
That's right. That's right.
Winners got to win.
That's right.
My final was Sidney Dean losing the shot for shot to Billy Ho. That's it.
Yeah, I don't have any.
Francis we met winning the major.
What brought it up last week was the dude that hit that needed the hole in one on his final hole to make the cut, and made it. You can't find a more clutch moment in sports than that. I refuse.
It's pretty damn good.
We've said that golf is, or we've had this discussion a few times. I am the firm believer that golf is the hardest sport in the world, and this dude did the hardest thing in sports probably. When it needed to happen.
Yeah.
Crazy.
We're at time. We should close this out. But we should have talked about the Olympics because they're kicking off. We got the trials kicking off and stuff like that. So we could probably dive into some of that next week. We've talked about it before. Didn't we talk about like the Olympic sport you thought you'd be best at? I don't remember what I said.
I think we universally all agreed water polo.
Yeah.
What's funny is I was thinking about that earlier. I was like, I don't even remember what I said, but I feel like I was probably severely underestimating how hard this sport is.
Yeah.
I said curling, and then
We can dive into it.
I said power walking
next week.
Oh, power walking would be good. That's a good one. Mm-hmm. All right. Yeah, we'll figure it out. Let's close it out. How do you close a podcast?
hopefully it sounds okay.
Yeah, hopefully everything sounds okay. Probably should have said that at the beginning.
Yeah. Appreciate you guys. Until next time, follow us everywhere. At Brew Bros on
That's right. We
Instagram.
did change it. I forgot. We gotta start saying that now.
Brew Bros. We're still at Who Effing Knows everywhere else, but Instagram's a lot more fun, so that's where you should go check us out, and YouTube, obviously. Thanks, Aaron. Thanks, Dave. Thanks, person in the background. That's it. Till next time.
Deuce.